All right, so you want to compose with variation, obviously. First thing you're going to need when you're getting into variations is a theme, okay? So here's the theme. That rhythm is going to be the seed of every variation that we do. Watch how many ways we can change this rhythm, okay? So here we go. Copy and paste it, okay? Now we're going to actually get into some resequencing here. So what are variations? We're just resequencing the components of what we already have established, okay? And what we've already established is we have 4 dotted quarter notes followed by 2 quarter notes. So what we can do is literally resequence those, and we already have a really powerful variation. This is what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking, instead of 4 dotted quarter notes in a row, let's go 3 dotted quarter notes in a row, dude. Just move one little thing around like this, right? And let's just see how that feels. Has a strong vibe. You can hear that contrast, right? But guess what? I want more contrast. One thing I'm thinking about is how that first groove is like knuckle dragging, like backbeat funk, right? I kind of want to pick up the pace a little bit in this variation here, right? So this is where step 1 of variation comes in. It's the rhythmic shift. So we've already shifted some of those components, but now let's actually shift the rate, because that's when we're going to get that feel change. That's where we're going to jump from knuckle dragging funk into like tight creeping matrix subdivisions. Okay, watch what I mean. I'll explain that momentarily. So here's what it looks like to change the rate. If my groupings are essentially 3 3s, a 2, followed by a 3 and a 2, let's reduce the rate by turning them into 3 dotted eighth notes instead of 3 dotted quarter notes, right? I'm just finishing that sequence. Now we got an eighth note right there, followed by another dotted eighth note, finish it with an eighth note, and there we go. We've resequenced that and we've reduced the rate to half. We just halved it, right? So now let's listen to that, see if that feels even better. Exactly, right? Exactly. So listen to contrast now. Exactly. You can already feel that new vibe emerging. So that's all step 1, the rhythmic shift. Just remember, shift the rhythm. That's your first key to variations. And think about how many different levels you can imply with doing that. The rate is a classic level, but also just resequencing the components, classic level when it comes to variations. Okay, so step 2 when it comes to variations, essential technique is to shift the dynamic and or the instrumental, right? First thing I'm going to do is actually literally just change the instrument. That is a sick level, right? Just change the drum kit. That's like the power of technology. So let's see what that sounds right out of the box. Literally perfect, reinforcing everything we want. So now let's hear all that contrast here. Literally sounds like rational gaze, right? Like just basic stuff here. Okay, now that we've done our rhythmic shift, dynamic, and instrumental shift, let's actually jump to step 3 where we change the notes, okay? Change the freaking notes of the riff to fit with our new rhythm, right? So once we establish a rhythm, the notes are naturally extrapolated out of that. The rhythm dictates the notes. So I'm definitely also going to need a new instrument, right? Jumping back to step 2, get yourself a new instrument. And now we're going to give that new instrument new notes. Let's see, what will be a good bass? I'm going to go with deep sub bass to kind of reinforce that sort of like tight dynamic shift where we're suddenly in some kind of like faster moment. You know what I mean? So now I got the instrument. Literally, I'm going to just copy and paste the last riff because this is what I'm going to work with, right? Even though I'm really going to, twist it up in knots here, I'm still working with these same components essentially. So first thing I got to do is reduce the rate, right? It's the same rhythm, just going to reduce the rate. Watch how quickly I do this. Literally just going to copy and paste the rhythm from over here. That's going to be the seed. Now I've got my rhythm here. Now let's find the notes. The whole point is I'm basically going to use the same notes I used before and see if there's any obvious opportunities for like a more powerful variation. So something like, this is what I was doing before. Like literally, this is too easy, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, what could this be? Maybe that? Let's see how that feels. Yeah, stanga, right? That's the vibe. Gonna kind of keep building on that. See how that, see what's gonna happen is you're gonna extend this. Watch this. This is already getting perfect. I'm gonna first just copy and paste that, right? Micro, macro over here. And now I'm gonna get the response happening. There's gonna be, see this first half is the call. This second half is the response, right? So let's see if we can hear something natural emerge. Yeah. It's too sick. I mean, I don't even know how much I would change. I kind of hear something like this, right? This might be too much, right? Be careful with these variations. Kind of hear something like that, maybe. Let's see, because you want a bigger response, some more emphasis on the response. I think that might be the ticket. And that. There, that's the one. That's the one for sure, for sure. There you go. I love that, right? I love that. And now I just want to build on top of it, So what I'm going to do here, we're going to go back into step 2, talk more about the instrumental aspect to kind of reinforce this new groove that we got going, right? So I think the first thing I want to do is actually think about what I want the drums to sound like, and I want more subdivisions. It's the end of the day. We're tightening up the groove. We're adding more subdivisions. That's the difference between the knuckle-dragging backbeat funk as opposed to the driving rock 16th notes, right? So let's see how that feels. Just adding another subdivision there. Yeah, it's good. I want more, though. I want more. There's something. Like, you can already hear what I'm going to do before I do it, right? Literally, that's the vibe. I want that, obviously. You already know. You already know, dude. Something like that. I love that. I mean, I can add on top of that. I see plenty of opportunities. And I will add a nice rhythmic synth. Just like I got a glitching beat machine on this, I'm gonna add a different beat machine over here. So I've gone into rhythmic synthesizers. What do I want? I mean, any of these are gonna be sick. I'm gonna go with this guy. I'm literally just copying and pasting what I have in glitching beat machine over here because the key hasn't changed. Like, are you freaking kidding me, kid? I mean, what could be sicker than that, to be perfectly honest? So basic stuff, right? I think about what's going on here is like I've got sort of like a hook followed by a verse situation, right? And I can already tell the length of all this is going to be longer. Like the verse, look, see the verse is 4 times through the cycle, but the intro is clearly, or the hook, whatever you want to call it, intro/hook. The intro that will become the hook is actually how you think about this. And we'll get into these compositional concepts. Just keep watching, right? So maybe that's what the intro is, right? And then you're coming back to the same, obviously, right? This is form, this is theme and variation. This is how to develop a very, very small idea, right? So you got 3 steps. You've got establish the theme and shift it somehow, but using the components that are in that theme. Don't take or add. Just see a clear parameter that you've created for yourself. Stay within that parameter, but try to subvert it. Rate is classic. Rate is like really one of the biggest secrets I'm giving away. That's how you get that feel change. It's all about feel change when you're talking about theme and variation, because at the end of the day, you're talking about like A section or B section, verse or chorus, intro or verse, right? That's what everything is. I'm just scratching the surface, dude. I'm literally going to turn you guys into geniuses. I literally am, right? So support the channel, subscribe, follow every video, listen to the Gas Station Mentality album, because that's where this stuff comes to life. And I'll take you along my process of creating music. Good!